Alexander Volkanovski says he'll see Ilia Topuria early next year. Check out Volk's full reaction video to UFC 308 on his YouTube channel. Links in the description.
Max, you're a legend. You'll be back. And Ilia, congratulations. Impressive. I'll see you wherever. Madrid. Can you do Madrid next year, early next year? Sydney. Sydney's definitely next year. So that's a date that we know we can do. That would be perfect. But, you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, nothing but the best. Well done to you and your family, and see you early next year, my man.
Dustin Poirier gives his thoughts on the rematch between Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira. Dustin thinks Charles wins once again.
I think it's a fun matchup, but I think if Charles Oliveira is going into this fight with the same mindset he had when I fought him, or the first time Chandler fought him, I think he's going to get the win. Obviously, Chandler's very explosive, an incredible athlete, and can hurt or put away Charles. But I just think Charles is going to be better everywhere, on the feet and on the ground.
Paddy Pimblett reacted to Ilia Topuria defeating Max Holloway. Paddy still thinks he can beat him.
Oh! Heavy. Hand sanitizer boy with the win. Heavy. Well done, Ilia. Give you his due, lad. 16-0. Hand sanitizer boy. Can't wait for him to come back up to lightweight. Still think I'd beat him. I really do. I still think I'd beat him, mad, whether he's just beat Max Holloway or not. I still think I'd beat him, mad, by kicking him on the feet or taking him down or submitting him. I genuinely think I'd beat him, but congrats, Ilia Topuria. Well done, son. Congratulations, lad. Obviously, hand sanitizer boy knocked Holloway out. Didn't see that coming, but give him his due. Good finish. Max was the better boxer, but Ilia's the better swinger, isn't he? And he ended up catching him with them big shots on the button. So congrats, fella. Can't wait for Vol to come back and beat you up. I'm willing to anytime.
Tom Aspinall says that watching both Max Holloway and Robert Whittaker lose hurt his soul.
Obviously, we got two absolute fan favourites, two fighter favourites. Max Holloway being one in the main event, and in the co-main, Rob Whittaker. Unfortunately, for me, this has hurt my soul a little bit because I absolutely love both of these guys, as do all the fighters, and as do 99% of the fans out there. So our guys lost tonight, unfortunately. But of course, we appreciate the winners. We appreciate Khamzat Chimaev. We appreciate Ilia Topuria as well.
Daniel Cormier says despite Conor McGregor having great power at featherweight, he doesn't believe he has the skill set of Ilia Topuria. DC compares Ilia to the boxer Triple G.
I don't know if we have ever seen a guy at 145 that punches like this dude. He hits like no one I've ever seen before. Conor McGregor had great power at 145, but Conor McGregor, I don't think, had the skills that Ilia Topuria has in terms of his pure boxing without going and fighting a pure boxing match. I was talking to some of the people in the back and they told me he's like Triple G. And I agree. Remember, Triple G used to just starch dudes early in his career. Topuria is like that. Topuria is that guy. He has that power to knock you out and do it in just absolutely devastating fashion. You try to find words to describe him, but it's proving very, very difficult because I never thought that anybody would be able to knock out Max Holloway. He did it tonight in the third round, and he did it in impressive fashion. You know, the Fight of the Year conversation felt like it was over. Like, Alex Pereira was the guy that was the Fighter of the Year, no questions asked. That's not the case. I think that these two wins singularly are as good as any two wins anybody can have.
Kamaru Usman gives his take on Khamzat Chimaev's win over Robert Whittaker. Kamaru says he actually thinks Rob had great defense up until the submission.
Come at me.
First and foremost, yes, I did tell you this is not. Everyone thought, oh yeah, you just get past round 2 and 3, and then you'll beat him in the later rounds. And I'm like, first and foremost, the same thing Francis said at one point. Before you get to round 2, 3, and 4, you got to get past round 1. And Khamzat Chimaev dry on your back in round 1 is not easy to get off. He leaves nothing on the table. He just, screw it, I'm going all in. He shot from the middle of the cage and ran him all the way to the cage. Listen, you said, oh, well, Robert Whittaker's stance was too wide. No, I think Robert Whittaker did what Robert Whittaker does. I think his stance was great. I would rather make Khamzat Chimaev fight one leg than fight both, than let him grab both. So it was great. He just should have circled off the cage, which is very, very tough to do. I actually thought Robert Whittaker did a phenomenal job of staying alive in that first, I want to say 2.5, 3 minutes. He did a great job. He was great defense. Khamzat would jump on his back, but Khamzat wasn't necessarily landing any shots. And Rob was able to just kind of stay safe enough to be able to roll whenever Khamzat threw a choke in. But Khamzat did great adjustment. So he took the cage away from Whittaker to be able to scrape him off. And then he was able to sink that in.
Tim Welch picked Robert Whittaker to beat Khamzat Chimaev unless Khamzat was able to finish him early. After Khamzat submitted Rob in 1 round, Tim thinks this new version of Khamzat as a father is even scarier than he was before.
Robert Whittaker tapped, and that was absolutely crazy. What's next for Khamzat? I mean, if we're talking big fights, Khamzat versus DDP, big fight. Khamzat versus Strickland, another big fight. He deserves one of those two. And I think those are probably the only 2 guys that are actually going to give him a good fight. I don't know if many guys, even in that middleweight division, can weather the storm that he brings, especially early on. I tweeted at Bo Nickel, might be able to give him some problems, but I'm thinking Bo Nickel in about 1.5 years, 2 years, let his striking develop a little bit more. But when it comes to pure wrestling, Bo Nickel's a guy that could stop Khamzat's wrestling. But then they'd have to strike with each other, and Khamzat's striking's very good too. Incredible performance by Chimaev. I thought Robert Whittaker was going to get it done, and he didn't. But Chimaev, superstar. Everyone wants to watch him fight. He's this character. He's got a kid now. He grew out his hair. He's doing this nice guy role now. And it almost does make him a little bit more scary. He didn't come out with that crazy walkout, all that energy in the cage, like being all crazy. And it was smart. And you can tell the guy's matured, and he's ready to get into these 5-round fights. So I'm pumped. Him versus DDP is going to be sweet. DDP's strong, explosive, I think, and DDP doesn't really have a neck. It's going to be hard for Khamzat to be able to catch and get under DDP's neck, but I do think Khamzat's going to be able to take him down over and over and over. And can DDP weather the storm? I hope we find out. I really do.
Rafael Dos Anjos released a statement on his TKO loss to Jeff Neal over the weekend. RDA suffered a knee injury in the first round. He posted this to his Instagram. He wrote, "Thank you all the fans for the support. Sorry I let you guys down. Definitely it was not how I want to celebrate my 40th birthday. It was a tough loss. During my whole UFC career, it's my 2nd time being hospitalized after a fight. It makes me feel blessed. It could have been worse. It's a tough game. Time to heal up, enjoy the family. I'm not done yet. I'll be back soon. God bless you all. I'll keep you guys updated on my stories." Ray Longo and John Anik discuss what should be next for Ilia Topuria. On the Anik and Florian podcast, Longo says he thinks a healthy Alexander Volkanovski would be the toughest fight.
Diego Lopez, with all of his skills, submission and otherwise, and his big frame, like, what do you think right now for a 27-year-old defending champion Ilia Topuria is the harder fight, the Volk rematch or the Diego Lopez fight?
I mean, that's a good question.
No, that's a
live
good
on a
question.
Monday morning. I mean, we're not ready for that one. What do you have for us, Ray?
Look, I love all 3 guys. I have the utmost respect for. I gotta tell you, man, I think a healthy Volkanovski's the harder fight.
Yeah,
if
so
we
can
get
he...
back to the Volkanovski that we know, if he's anywhere near that, that's the harder fight. I think Lopez, I think, is a tough mother, but he's got his chin a little too high up in the air. I think this guy finds that. Yeah. And again, what we, I mean, the other thing is, I mean, he really hasn't had to demonstrate his wrestling and jiu-jitsu, which I think is just as good as his boxing, I would think, at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he did, look, I love what he did. He went in there, he took him down, he let him know he could take him down, and I think that was to set up what was coming, just to get his hands going so he could just keep him a little guessing, like you could get taken down again.
Yeah.
Not that he wanted to expend a lot of energy while he was down there.
Yeah.
But he did take him down pretty freaking easy.
Magomed Ankalaev sends a message to Alex Pereira. Magomed thinks the UFC is protecting Alex from him. He went on to say, "Let's do it. Alex, stop running away from me. I've heard that he wants to fight during Ramadan. We are not fighting in Ramadan. Otherwise, after Ramadan or before Ramadan, if he says yes, we will fight him." I think he's being protected. I'm not sure why the UFC is doing it. I think they're protecting him. We know that he's an exciting fighter. We know that he fights in the stand-up. He's a great striker. So I think that they're just saving him, protecting him. Conor McGregor responded to a fan telling him not to come back to the UFC. Conor reposted this. It says, "No reason to come back to the UFC or fighting in general. You have a beautiful family, worth $500 million, businesses, as being a successful businessman." Conor replied, "You know what? You're right. Goodbye." Last week, the Hawk Tuah girl revealed that Sean O'Malley has been calling and DMing her. Sean has responded to her today on the Timbo Sugar Show and says he was high when he did it.
What is that fella's name that's been messaging me all week? The O'Malley boy.
Sean? Sugar Sean?
He has a kid, don't he?
Was he DMing you?
Dude, he's so nice. He's just conversating with me. He's like, "What are you doing?"
No, wasn't he like, didn't he like
What are
call
you
you like
doing?
5,000 times
Usually
before
just
he
be
said
nice,
anything?
you know, right? What are you doing?
So when I seen him first like DM me, I had like 5 missed calls from him, and I was like, "What the?"
Calling you?
Yeah, like on Instagram. I didn't even know you could do that.
Bro, that Hawk Tuah, you guys see that? Like her.
I thought you were like,
He was trying hard
No.
for her. and
So
she
what
was like,
happened?
"What?"
So I was on Oxycontin. It was the day of my surgery or the next day. So I was on Oxycontin. I was live on Twitch. I was live on Instagram, and I was trying to call people to freestyle. And I'm just f***ed up. I'm on Oxycontin. The boys are higher than a kite. And I called Aiden Ross, Steve Will Do. I was calling a bunch of people to freestyle. And they wanted me to call Hawk Tuah girl. So I found her IG, and I tried to click the little call button, but it didn't go through. So I clicked it a few times. And she's like, "He called me like 5 times." Which she's not wrong. I did call her like 5 times, but it was trying to get her to freestyle.
So,
And maybe a little Hawk Tuah.
and you were
Jokes.
saying she doesn't really do Hawk Tuahs?
No, I heard that.
Oh, really?
I think Schmitty said it.
I bet she does.
Hawk Tuah, spit on that thing. They've capitalized. They have done a good job capitalizing on that clip.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from YouSmell9330. It says, "Dana is so petty and bitter when it comes to Francis." The second one's from John the Internet. It says, "Ngannou was never a guy I wanted to do business with, so I offered him the biggest contract in history." And the final one's from Major Based. It says, "Dana's hate for Francis is wild." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.